Hello, everybody, and welcome here to the set of Digital Manufacturing, an online event organized by Dassault Systèmes. Of course, another step towards operational excellence. This is the theme that will be following throughout the morning and the day, and we'll have many experiences coming up. First of all, this morning, we'll start by hearing out some clients from SMEs to big accounts, French or international, to get our hands dirty, if I may say so, and understand how digital transformation of these clients go through industrial transformation, of course, all of it being supported by the platform 3D Experience platform and software suites, and we'll see how these tools address the needs of the clients in terms of industrial agility. In a few minutes, you will know everything about it. Then 90 minutes to discover in details all these solutions, and that will be done with technical workshops dedicated to you. You'll have a chat box where you can ask all your questions and have your answers live. And then we will be traveling and we'll have a virtual tour in the plant of the future. That's what is expecting you. You'll be able to dive into this plant of the future and follow the whole process, industrial process, all the steps from the design stage of a product to its distribution, going through, of course, by the production processes. You will be able to meet an expert, make an appointment with an expert in the plant. You'll do it from the tab Meet an Expert. That's about it. And next to me on the set, you see there's Philippe Bess. Hello. You are, of course, Managing Director for Eurowest. And Guillaume Vendroux. Hello, Guillaume. You are still, of course, the Chief Executive Officer of Delmia. I am delighted to have you on the set today because the point of this morning is to understand how your solutions are adjusting and helping your partners and clients in terms of digital transformation, of course, but industrial transformation, because manufacturing is the way we should put at the heart of the process this industry 4.0. Philippe, maybe I have a first question for you. It may sound a bit candid at the horizon 2021-2022. This sanitary crisis has made a lot of changes with us. Has it brought about good changes as well?
First of all, I wanted to say that it's important to outline the key investments that have been made by laboratories all across the globe. These laboratories have had to work really hard. They've invested a lot in order to be able to produce vaccines. And what's great is that these vaccines have been produced in just a year, when normally it would take between 5 and 10 years. And the second part of my response to your question is that we've had different issues throughout this last year due to the pandemic, issues with supply, notably with regards to simulating the growth of the epidemic over time. And we've also had production issues, production of masks, gel, the respirator machines, and now with vaccines too. It's important to be able to produce quickly, yes, and to be able to produce the right quantity for the market. But there's also been issues with regards to logistics. It's not just about producing the right amount of vaccines, you also need to be able to send them out at the right time, in the right quantity, and send them to the right places. So all of this is very important. And when you look at this, you see that with the pandemic, we now have to rethink our simulation models, our forecasting and production models, as well as our logistics and supply models. And this is not just for the health sector, but for all sectors. And when you look at these changes, it will have an impact on the grassroots level. It will lead to more digital twinning, what we call virtual twin experience within our company. So why do we call it virtual twin experience? Well, because you create a digital twin, and what we do is we simulate the entire production of these objects on the production line, and you plan for flexibility, whether you need to bring in an extra line, extra 2 lines, etc. So this will be brought out more and more in the future.
Production, that is a very important word here. We understood that. Guillaume, digital transformation is at the heart of your solutions. It's your core business, isn't it? Is it suffering from the crisis, this digital transformation?
No, absolutely not. The opposite is actually happening. A few years ago, there were already changes in the market with a transition from an economy of products to an economy of experiences. This led to a lot of changes. It seems like something simple, but it was a big change from standardized products to more customized products, adding in extra complexity. So it's a rich experience, but it's very complex. And experience is something instantaneous, so you need to be quick as well. So you had complexity, diversity, and speed. This is difficult in an industry. And in 2017, 2018, there were already changes in the market, changes in industry, because we had to try and meet this need for extra agility and speed. And with the crisis, this has got even worse. So you've already got this complexity, diversity, and speed, but we've got now, with the pandemic, further restrictions. There's issues with logistics, there's been disruption to our supply chains, production has been disrupted as well. So these restrictions have showed that now more than ever we need to transform. We have our computers and they've been extremely important the last year because we've not been able to see people face to face. So digital transformation has been absolutely key for all companies. Those who hadn't started the digital transformation had to start it, and to the contrary of what you may have thought, the pandemic has actually sped up this need for transformation.
Absolutely. Resilience, if I hear you both, and agility are not stereotypes here in this debate. Gentlemen, you're going to stay with me because we're going to start now getting our hands dirty with our client cases to try to understand how your clients and partners need these solutions, from the SME to the big accounts, French or international. We're going to stop here, Philippe, with one of the first cases, which is the case of the digital twin. And we're going to talk to a leader in the industry. It's Airbus. Let's go to Toulouse in a few minutes. We're going to find out more. So we're back on the set because we're going to ask a lot of questions. What is the role of anticipation and simulation when we build a plane or an helicopter? How important is safety? And what are the benefits of digital continuity in terms of industrial process? One tool can help. It's Delmia Digital Manufacturing to really understand all the needs in terms of virtualization of the industrial tool. Thierry Berthelon is here to answer us, Vice President of the program DDMS. Hello, Thierry.
Hi, everybody, and thanks for having me with you today.
On my side, you see Guillaume and Philippe, who wanted to greet you.
Hi, Thierry. Thanks for being here today. Hi, Thierry. Thank you very much for speaking to us today.
So it may be a bit disruptive with you, Thierry, because we're going to first talk about Airbus and its digital transformation before going back to Airbus Helicopters more precisely. Why that?
Why? Why a transformation? Well, it's a way of rethinking our approach to ensure that we have greater digitalization, to change our working environment and methods, and to maintain our competitive advantage, and to win the coming battle in aeronautics. So we want to maintain our role as a position as leader. So we have a tool which is called DDMS, Digital Design, Manufacturing and Services. And in this program, DDMS, we focused on time to market, reducing our development cycle by 30%. We want to adapt to the situation. We saw that with COVID, you have to try and plan for drops and for ramping up. We want to improve our quality, and we want economic and environmental sustainability.
So there are many goals here. How is Dassault System helping you to achieve these goals and this transformation?
Well, developing a new plane with the industrial and services investments involved, it totals around €1 billion per plane. You have to prepare for a whole new ecosystem. You have to make the right choice the first time round. So this involves doing lots of simulation, and that's where digital tools come in. When you look at digital modeling in aeronautics, so we have a coupling between the aerostructure and the dynamics, and you can have up to 1 million parts for these simulators. So we need all the best possible technology for storing, the best methods, best management, all the most recent high-performing tools which can manage this volume of data. So we need a great partner that can manage this data, can help us to deploy softwares that can be sustainable. We want standard systems, not something we customize, and we want these systems to be dynamic tools so they can evolve over time. And we want to be able to automatically migrate our data. We want something sustainable. We don't want legacy software, and that's why we signed up to a partnership agreement with Dassault.
So if I hear you out, when you're pitching this digital twin, you say that it's very important to have a digital 3D to anticipate the physical 3D. Except that the digital twin as a concept, this is not that new.
Yes, that's true. But what's actually really new is that you now have a real overall digital twin, not just for the product, but also the factory and the systems, support, and maintenance. So it's very collaborative. This is where it's been very useful. We're trying to improve our overall performance. We use digital twins in the development stage, doing co-design, involving products, industrial system and services teams. We simulate logistics impact, look at planning to try and reduce risks, and for services we simulate things for maintenance, support, retrofit, etc. So the idea is that you use the digital world to simulate in advance what we're actually going to do in the physical world.
So I hear all these collaborative, co-design. I would like to add consistency as well. Because if I hear you out, with this platform 3D experience, you will have a management of the project from A to Z.
Yes, exactly. 3D experience has helped meet these needs that I've just expressed to you. So it has to be coherent, yes. And we use CATIA Design, the CAO tool, and we also use Delmia Digital Manufacturing, which helps us with the assembly of our parts, with the instructions for the assembly. And we also use Delmia Appriso, which allows the operators to execute by following clear instructions. And what we are looking for with 3D experience is to have digital continuity between all these different tools throughout the life cycle for greater traceability, and we want the changes to be brought in real time.
So it's good that you're talking about tools because the boss of tools is here with us, Guillaume Vendreau. If you had one request to ask Guillaume Vendreau in terms of tangible and measurable benefit, what would it be?
We have two priorities. Number one, safety first. Number two, safety first. Because that's what our customers want from us. Helicopters have to be safe. So what we expect from Delmia Digital Manufacturing is to help us to meet this need for safety with a coherent data model between products, procedures, and the resources. We need traceability from start to finish with continuous quality control, digitalization with different digital objects, and we want to be able to reuse something which has been proven to be effective. So we want dynamic 3D approach. We need pictograms. It's a bit like IKEA, but in 3D, and it's very dynamic as well. Safety first is our company's entire culture. We want to reduce workplace accidents. We want to protect both our customers and our staffs in the factories as well. So we'll be safety first on our products and safety first for our teams as well.
And safety first on concrete results. You're deploying Delmia Digital Manufacturing for several months already.
Yes, we've already reached around 3/4 of our objectives for digital manufacturing already. We've identified different objects in the platform which will help us to be able to measure quality and predict safety. We've already seen an improvement of efficacy with 30% improvement for preparation. For execution, we've not yet reached our objective of 7%, which is what we're focusing on by the end of this year. And we need to continue working together to look at the new dynamic version to prepare for the future. But with the COVID situation, we really need future solutions right away.
Absolutely. Tomorrow is being prepared today. We understood that. Thank you very much, Thierry, for this testimony, for this feedback. Guillaume, Philippe, when you hear Thierry talk about this capacity of anticipation that this solution is providing him, Delmia Digital Manufacturing, do you feel like you have a good tool in your hands to help and empower the industry, no matter what it is, core business?
It's the right approach, absolutely. The capacity of digital twin solutions to project us in the future are very scientific. It creates a model. This helps us to be able to project ourselves, to look forward to the futures. And this is what we want in industry. And we think that the digital twin approach will absolutely help meet Airbus's needs.
And also, the idea is to think that manufacturing is business after all.
Yes, absolutely. Thierry Bertillon was talking about industrial objectives, and we work hand in hand with Airbus. It's a real partnership to try and develop solutions whenever it's necessary for them.
Philippe, thank you very much. You are leaving for now, but we will meet you later of this edition. Guillaume, I keep you with me for a moment. We're going to go to see a new client case. This time we'll be heading to Italy, Milan, more precisely, with a very interesting client case. It's the use of Delmia Appiso, a global management of production operations solutions. We're going to talk about innovation, execution, quality, visibility, and traceability. And we will try to improve all these topics with Dario Sharabnia, who's the CEO of Geico Taikisha Group, who is the world leader for the design and construction of automated solution turnkey paint shops of body cars. We'll meet very soon.
Geico is a company that operates in the automotive industry. We are a turnkey provider of paint shop for the automotive body of the car. Geico has been in this market for many years, for 3 generations, and one of our main aspects is innovation. We believe strongly that in order to bring value to our customer, we have always to innovate and to bring new solutions in order to make our customer life easier. This means, especially in the last 3 years, coming up with new strategic projects. In this case, particularly, we are talking about our Smart Paint Shop project. As everybody's talking today, also Geico has decided to invest a lot into the concept of Industry 4.0. What we did, we analyzed and we checked all around the world in many other markets, not only automotive-related technologies that can be considered, can be useful into this concept of Industry 4.0. This technology nowadays allowed us to introduce and to offer to our customers solution that allows them to manage their paint shops in a more effective way, creating way much flexibilities and so on. Of course, as we all know, Industry 4.0 means interconnection. And interconnection means having a strong brain that controls and manages everything. We decided to create a very strong partnership with the Dassault Systèmes in order to create our own digital twin. This system that goes through the Dalmia solutions is called PES. PES is basically the operation system of our paint shops. Now, thanks to this strong partnership with Dassault, we are not only able to offer to the customers solutions regarding paint shops, but we are able to offer a full MES system for all the factory needed to build a car. So thank you very much for being here. Now I will leave you to my colleagues that they will introduce you more specifically to each part of the PS system that we are going to show you. Thank you very much.
Hi, welcome again. My name is Frank Levering. As you can see, we are still in Pardis, the Innovation Center. And at this moment, we are at the start of a production day. We are going to pretend this is an automotive paint plant. And with the press of the button, we are going to give the instructions to the systems behind me that we will look for the first moment of the production day. So I will do this now. And at this time, the instructions will be reaching all the different systems behind me. And as soon as all the instructions are processed, you will actually physically see the equipment behind me start to move. Now in this environment, we are able to explore many different things for our engineers. It's basically a playground where they can experiment with new features, new technologies, new designs, and we can execute them in real life. Right? What we are looking at today is a combination of that innovation, of that area where they can try anything they would like, together with the brain of the paint shop, or the smart paint shop. In our Innovation Center, we have a rather unique situation to implement a system like Dalmia. The challenge is that, as you can see, all these various processes are standalone demonstration of Geico Taikisha's capabilities. That means that the car bodies are actually fixed inside one process. We cannot make the body move like you would see in a plant from one process to the next. Now, as this is the case, the system would not be able to recognize where a process starts and where a process finishes. So to help Delmia understand exactly what is going on, we have allowed inside the system for a buffer zone. That means when the physical universe, the car stays in its place and simply rewinds to demonstrate the same process again. In the system, the finishing of that process is considered the time to move that car into the buffer. Once the car is inside the buffer, we are then able to automatically or manually put that car into the next process. This allows us to replicate a real-life plant and the flow through all the processes as if it was a reality. Just now from the balcony, we started the production day in our environment. What we see here is the same machine we saw starting up inside the Innovation Center on the screen as a process. So what we can see here is that at this moment there are 4 cars going through different steps of this specific process on the machine we were looking at. Right? At the bottom we can also see in the Delmia control screen that there are 4 different tanks active at the moment to support these 4 cars in different processes. We can also hear and see behind me that that machine is actually hard at work in the physical world. Now this screen is mainly used directly on the line by people who are working in that area. It is not meant for them to touch and control, but it's meant for them to monitor exactly what is going on in this situation here. So at any point in time, they are fully aware of what is happening in the processes directly around them. If, however, you are in the control room, you are able to go from process to process and switch this screen over to any zone in the manufacturing plant that you actually want to look at. We have now arrived at what we will call our control room. Of course, in real life, at a real plant, it will look nothing like this. But for the purpose of our demonstration, we will be using this screen as the general overview and control of the entire paint shop. Now what we have here is the Delmia PES system control room view for all the processes in one single look. So here what I can see is all the different KPIs of all the different processes in a single glance. Now if everything is perfect, the screen will look something like this. But if there's something that requires attention, it will be visible immediately in the process and in the icons that you see here, allowing immediate action and immediate ability to zoom in on that process so you can see what is going on at that point in time. So it gives you a lot of flexibility and control to be fully aware of what's happening in the paint shop. But the task of the person in the control room doesn't quite stop there. It might also be important to go and see what other things are relevant inside this process. As you can see here, we have the Lean Dip 9000, one of our dipping systems available, and it's actually inside this process. Now what we would like to see if there's anything we need to know beyond what we're looking at here. So we're going to have a look at maintenance from the Delmia homepage. And we jump back into one of the PES screens, allowing us the Geico Taikisha overview of what requires maintenance at this point in time. Now as we can see, there are maintenance required on the various machines, and on the Lean Dip, that maintenance is in progress. Now let me zoom in on what is going on. There is clearly maintenance required. It is actually with a high urgency. So there's action required, but lucky for us, somebody has already read the maintenance procedure. So at this point in time, we can go and see what it is that they need to do next. So here we can see the various details of what they need to do. Now let's assume that this person is actually already completely done with this task. So we can see what happens next. This person ticks the box and says, I have fulfilled my task. And now all I need to do is a final check to make sure that the work was actually done correctly. Usually there is a procedure to verify that the maintenance is indeed complete. So as a final check, I verify to the system that this task has also been done. And from here, I can now consider this task complete. And the moment I do that, it will disappear from the maintenance record here. And is now marked complete. Welcome to the final inspection station. What we will do here is that I will perform a visual inspection of this car body to find any defects. This allows me to pinpoint if there is a problem with this car or if it can be released to the end of the line. Give me a moment while I take a look. Okay, for the sake of our demo, of course, I have found a small problem. I am now going to mark this in the system so that it gets tracked on this car body. I am going to mark on the car body where I have found the flaw, which is here. And now I am going to add the new defect. First, I will need to add a description, which I will call chip, because the paint is chipped. And then I will indicate the position in the front, and I will indicate the severity of the problem. Oh, let me make that minor. And from there, I will add this to the car body logbook. In the system, every step throughout all the processes in the paint shop are tracked for this specific car body. As you will be able to see, you now get the full overview of everything that might have happened in these processes that the operator needs to know. That is sent, and we'll now be able to take a look at the car body logbook. If the car has no problems at all, it will simply proceed to the end of the line and go to the assembly shop, where all the parts will be put together to make this a real car. If this problem requires further attention, it will be taken to the process where the action is required, and it will be made ready to also proceed to the end of the line. During the quality inspection, you heard me mention the car body logbook. Let's have a closer look. In the car body logbook, you can see that every car body has a unique identifier. This allows us to track very precisely everything that's happened throughout all the processes in the entire paint shop. As you can see here, we have captured some data that is relevant for somebody to evaluate the processes this car has gone through. And of course, we have done the visual inspection ourselves. During this process, in the visual check, we've been able to capture 2 defects, and they are indicated as not so severe or minor. You can also see that there is a start date and an end date to this process, allowing somebody to verify that the quality process has taken place in the correct manner. With this, I would like to end our tour and thank you on behalf of Dassault and Geico Taikisha for your time and attention.
So here we are behind the scenes of Geico Taikisha. I promised you that Guillaume Vendroux would stay with us. I have a question for you, Guillaume. It's nearly too easy a question. Why did Geico choose Delmia Priso to ensure its transformation?
Well, Geico had a need to change their product offer a couple of years ago, and they really wanted to change the way their systems, their painting lines were operating. So they launched a call for tender, we answered it, and we won it. So what are we offering to Geico? Well, we're offering them a way to better operate their lines, to have better traceability, visibility on the performance of the lines, synchronization for the different activities which need to be carried out at the same time, so improved performance for their customers. So this is a quite unusual situation. Geico doesn't use the solution to make their line. We're working always together so that Geico's customers themselves have the ideal solution. So it's based on a PRISO. It's called the PES system, Painting Execution System.
What is interesting here, and we saw that with the example of Airbus and Airbus Helicopters with Thierry Berthelon, Dalmia da PRISO is used in a very different way in this project, and yet we feel like we can make it whatever we want.
Exactly, yes. A PRISO allows you to modelize and execute an industrial system, so you can use it for your different in-house uses, or you can offer it to your clients as Geico was doing. So yes, it's very flexible, adaptable, and at the end of the day, it always brings value. It improves industrial efficacy for your end customers.
So it is clearly not ready-made, it is more tailor-made depending on each company's needs.
It's not exactly something you can always completely tailor to your needs. It's not customized to somebody's needs, but you can configure it, as we saw with Geico just now.
So I imagine that's for all these reasons that a few weeks ago, Gartner chose you as the leader on the segment of the MES in its famous report Magic Quadrant for the year 2021. I guess you must be proud of it.
Yes, indeed. For us in the team, it's great. We've been in the Magic Quadrant report for the last 4 years ago. That's 4 years now. So we've been the only one to be in the top few in the last few years, and our market share has been going up as well. I think in discrete manufacturing, I think we're now the number one today. Our performance has been improving, so we thank Gartner. And you asked why Geico chose us, and I think that's maybe part of the reason why.
So I'm going to let you go in a minute. If I tell you Dalmia Works, what do you tell me?
Dalmia Works is a new member of our family, as a little brother, a little sister, focusing specifically on SMEs. So it's an extra arrow in our quiver.
That's very good. We now will look more into a Quebec case. We're going to go to Sherbrooke with MI Integration. It's a company specialized in the design and production of plastic molds to produce sealing gaskets, among others, for the automotive sector. We're going to learn how we can improve sharing information, save time, and reduce the risks of mistakes, and reduce the low value added tasks. So here we are in the beautiful province with Danny Godu. Danny, you are business intelligence and ERP specialist for MI Integration. Hello.
Hi.
So before you decided to implement and deploy Dalmia Works at MI Integration, how did it work?
So when I was hired, they'd already chosen to work with Dalmia Works. And we used to have loads of Excel files. They used to have to fill out loads of things by hand. So at each stamping machine, they had a large table where we'd write down the quantity of parts produced, what's happened during the day. So the heads of teams had to go fill this table out. It took them a lot of time, and there were lots of risks of making mistakes, of course. So it wasn't really a high-performance solution. And for the accounting system, with all these tables that were filled out by hand, they were then sent on to the accounting system, and it really didn't work out for us.
So first of all, you got rid of the Excel files. And then what really changed concretely with deployment of the solution?
So everything we used to do in the past by hand is now done automatically. So this has saved us a lot of time. We do real-time monitoring. So we look at all the cycles and rejections with the MES system offered by Delmia Works. This has saved us a lot of time. So once this data is collected, all we have to do is approve this information. And then during our daily meetings, these meetings used to take up to an hour. We used to go by each machine, do it machine by machine, but now we have KPIs which come centrally from the system, and we just check these figures, and we just have a quick look at what's going on. So all the different teams are there at this meeting in the morning, and it's all very visual, and have a look at which machine performed well, which didn't perform well the day before, which machines have been stopped for how much time. So we look at all the key figures, and our meetings are much more productive. It's helping us to focus more on performance as well, because these KPIs are on screens all throughout our factory, so you can see the performance of each and every machine. So the staff can have a look, and this encourages them. They want their machine to work better than all the others. So these real-time figures also help us to react very quickly. When you see the percentage of rejections going up, the maintenance team can see it straight away and react straight away, or the quality team can react as well. So it's really helped in terms of reaction time, and we have these KPIs in real time. It's great. We've also serialized our inventory, so we can follow the movement of the inventory, and this is really useful information for us. We used to have 3 logistics assistants, and now we have just one person. This is thanks to automation with sending, with receiving items, and also for stock management.
What means, if I understand correctly, that there's a real visibility, a real perspective on the whole production chain and value chain, and also in terms of predictive maintenance, you can adjust each information and each marker depending on the production line. What is happening outside with your clients? Do they really see a difference? Are they more happy? Are they more satisfied?
Yes. In terms of satisfaction, I was quite impressed with what we've heard so far. Sometimes the quality teams need good levels of traceability to know exactly which batch was used to make this part. And when this has happened, we were able to share the data. So at any given moment in time, we can find out which part was in which area, who is controlling this, which parts were used. We have the batch number, so the traceability is great. It helps us to avoid quality issues and solve quality issues. This helps the people in charge of shipping to be able to send things as quickly as possible. And it's also helped us to improve delivery times, because the system can calculate our needs. So if we receive an order from a customer, the system will calculate the needs. So thanks to pre-predicted delivery times, we know we're going to deliver on time, and this has definitely had an impact on satisfaction.
So we can imagine that the implementation of Delmia Works is part of a more global transformation plan of MI integration. What are the other parts of this digital transformation plan?
Yes, for us in our company we have different departments. So we create plastic molds, and they can be very complex sometimes. They have up to 500 moving parts. So we have brought in Delmia Works for our plastic injection solutions, and we're trying to ensure that the molds are designed within one chain. Previously, we used to use lots of different systems, a legacy ERP tool, so we want to be able to just manage it with just one tool. Earlier on, you talked about predictive maintenance and such things, and we want to bring in real-time process monitoring, which is different than just capturing the different cycles of the machines. It's about really trying to look at the information and look at the temperatures in the machines, the rotation speeds, and get all of this information in order to try and improve predictive maintenance.
Do you have any advice that you wanted to share with other companies, SMEs maybe, who are thinking of deploying such a solution as Delmia Works, but mostly of deploying an ERP with a bit of MES?
Yes, well, the first thing I'd suggest is to adapt your processes to the system and not demand the opposite. Initially, what we tried to do was to try to adapt the processes of Delmia Works, used to be called IQMS. We tried to adapt Delmia Works' processes to our way of working. That didn't work, so don't do that. I encourage you to adapt your processes to Delmia Works. That's really essential. Secondly, you need to involve the end users as soon as possible. So we had the process operators, but we didn't involve them upstream enough. And then we had to make changes later on downstream. So I really encourage you to involve the end users as soon as possible. And sponsorship is something which has been really important for us, that our management has been very enthusiastic about this solution. Our president was really enthusiastic about it, and he therefore helped to motivate the rest of the teams.
Okay, so if I sum it up, you adapt the process to the system and not the system to the process. Is that correct?
Yes, that's it.
Thank you very much for this testimony.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So we're now going to leave Quebec to go to Spain with our next guest, who will be talking about planning the production, synchronizing production flows, digital continuity from the supply of the raw materials to the end product. We'll see how Delmia or TEMS, which of course is an application of Dassault Systèmes, is working with the SMEs on these big stakes of production.
And we're back in studio, and we've been switching to English, of course, for the next segment with Jordi Macias, is the planning manager at Oriac. Hello, Jordi. It's great to have you here on this very set. How would you pitch the story of Oriac?
So, hello, everybody. Thank you for the invitation. It's really nice to have the possibility to participate in this event. Said that, Uriach is a pharmaceutical company with almost 2 centuries of history. It's a familiar company that has been handed over from father to son since 1838, when it was founded in old town of Barcelona, and everything started as a small drugstore in Barcelona. Since then, the company has changed a lot, and nowadays we are a multinational company that exports worldwide. We have affiliates in Portugal, Italy, Germany, And we are around about 1,000 people that work together with the purpose to improve the quality of life and the health of people. And last year we reached almost 240 million turnover. So as I said, it has changed quite a bit since it started already 2 centuries ago.
Now, if we go back to the basics, if you may, before deploying and implementing Delmia or TEMS, how did you manage scheduling?
So everything was manually done through an Excel file. We need to invest a lot of effort in this process because we had to download all the information and all the production orders from SAP and manually build this Gantt planning in Excel file. So it was quite tricky. We had to spend a lot of time trying to checking the file, seeing, okay, we had problems, mistakes. Of course, we were not able to update this or to load this information from this Excel file into our SAP system. So both systems were not connected, and we were not able to have information coordinated and updated in our ERP system. We have a factory with 55 production lines, and we manage around about 700 orders per month. So you can imagine building this planning took for us a high amount of time. So big percentage of our working time. So we decided we had to change the tool, and that's why we start assessing the different options that we had in the market. And finally, we get in touch with our SAP partner, Seidor, who implemented SAP at Uriach, and they come to us with Ortem's solution. We had a couple of sessions to dig into the program, ask questions, check the details, and finally we decided for us it was the better option because the interconnectivity with SAP was so far the best that we saw among the different options. And we were sure that having one unique partner managing this project was going to be easier for us to handle it.
Lots of change, if I do hear you well and correctly here, for you and your teams along the value chain. But what would be the main benefits of Delmia Ortem and the fact that you can mix and match the SAP and Delmia Ortem solution together?
So after implementing Ortems, we can definitely say that we can contribute better to the fulfillment of our company targets by being able to dedicate more time to higher added value activities in planning and scheduling. We are faster, we are more agile, we are more reliable, and we can offer better service to our internal and external customers. We have currently 2 systems that are interconnected, and we can upload and download information between both of them, and we have everyday information updated. This means that our SAP system currently is, the information that we can find in our SAP system is way more reliable than before the implementation of ORTEMS. So we are very happy with the new tool, and not only ORTEMS has helped us to improve our let's say planning and scheduling activities, but it has as well helped us to have some collateral benefits in other areas. Because we are able to provide, just by the fact, as I was explaining to you, that we have our SAP better updated and with better information, we are able, for instance, to provide estimations on inventory closure on a monthly basis, sales closure on a monthly basis, and other financial figures that are relevant not only for the planning and activities. So overall, I would say it has been a huge step forward in our, not only in our department, but for the operations activities at Uriach.
Business opportunities popping up. Happy to hear you. Happy, Jordi, here. But what would be your main takeaways for anyone who would like to implement a Delmi ORTEM solution itself?
Just take time to analyze and identify all your planning processes in order to anticipate any possible problem that may occur. It's important that you have a good understanding of how your planning and your SAP works to be able to implement ORTEMS. So take your time, be realistic with the implementation time that you need to carry on a project like this. It's a complex tool, and it will take some time, but again, it really pay off. So we are very happy. Another thing that I would recommend is try to identify all the different satellites that may interact with ORTEMS, because in our case we had some issues with with our SAP warehouse layer. And this was because we were not, or we did not identify properly this interconnection that ORTEMS was going to have with this warehouse layer. So analyze or try to do a good diagnosis of all your different satellites that is connected with SAP and will be connected to ORTEMS. And be prepared to have a change in your mindset as well, because it's a different way of working and way of doing, but definitely it's worth it.
Lesson seems to have been learned. You do speak from experience. Thank you so much, Jordi and Matthias, for stepping by the set of digital manufacturing here for Dassault Systèmes. Coming up, a conclusion, and Philippe Best will be back on set.
So we are nearly at the end of this digital manufacturing part 1. Philippe is back with me because I know that even behind the scenes you followed very carefully all these client cases that we could hear. What is the main takeaway?
First of all, I'd like to thank all of the clients who have spoken today. And I hope that what they have said will help inspire all of the partner companies involved in this event. I think that we've seen today that simulation in manufacturing is at the heart of what our clients are focusing on. All of our clients are involved in digital transformations at the moment. They all have needs, of course, and and they want to create value.
qui sont très différentes. On a des
Some
comme Uriach,
clients, such as Oriac, are leading a very vertical transformation in a very specific area, such as planning, whereas for Airbus, for example, it's more horizontal, and it's involving all of the different stages, from design right up to execution, and they want to go all the way to services with this.
We just saw that there are some very different cases, different scales of company, different natures of products, and yet the same interest for the Dassault System solutions.
Yes, that's true. I think the most important thing is to create value for our customers. We're focusing on two main areas. Things that businesses are focusing on, such as reducing costs, improving industrial performance, improving quality. But as we heard from Airbus as well, our solution is going to also help them have a competitive advantage. For Airbus, it's a competitive advantage against Boeing. So it can help companies to simulate different scenarios before you start producing and choose the best scenario. This also helps with traceability. So these are different things which I think are really important. It's important for the business side of things and from the technical side of things.
There may be a third stake is to think that no matter what is the scale of your company, there's a solution that is out there for the company, and we may have to think out of the box, thinking outside of the lines of an SME. There may be a Dalmia system that is adjusted to the manufacturing solution.
You've summed it up better than I could have done.
I'm a quick learner.
Yes, we have a very rich portfolio with solutions that are adapted for small-sized companies, mid-sized companies, and big international companies as well. So yes, our solutions can cover different sizes of companies and different types of companies as well. For the manufacturing sector, automotive sector, consumer goods, the energy industry, construction industry, many different sectors and industries, and different types of transformation as well. We can cover more vertical or more horizontal transformations.
There may be a last key in this 21-22 period where the governments, national governments, European governments try to link digital transformation and environment transformation. There's some recovery plans that could be good tools to finance these solutions.
Yes, it's true that various governments have launched recovery plans following COVID-19 to try and boost innovation, improve competitivity, and to produce greener. So if we look at France now, France has committed 100 billion euros to its recovery plan for the next few years in manufacturing, in energy, in industry, and in the defense industry as well. So what we suggest with these funds is that we can help our clients to put together their application and submit them to BPI France. So I think the most important thing for our customers is to be able to get these grants and to be able to use this for their transformations.
Transformation, that will be the key to this morning. Thank you very much, Philippe.